Here is another part of indices, exponential equation. In this part, I'll be solving questions on exponential equations. Now, what are exponential equations? Exponential equations are equations in which variable occurs as exponent. Now, when you are solving an exponential equation, some exponential equation problems are reduced to quadratic expression. Here on screen, you see a raised by ax raised to power 2 plus bx plus c. This is a what? This is a quadratic expression. Some exponential questions like this will be reduced to this in order for you to get the value for letter that you are looking for rather. Now, how are we going to go about it? Let's go to examples for clearer understanding. Example 1, 5 raised to power 2x minus 26, open bracket, close bracket, 5 raised to power x plus 25 is equal to 0. Let's start. To solve this, this expression will be reduced down to quadratic expression. Now, you start from, let's expand this. You have 5 raised to power x raised to power 2 minus 26, 5 raised to power x plus 25 is equal to 0. Now, from this, you have some things here that are common. 5 raised to power x, 5 raised to power x. Now, we can assume a letter for 5 raised to power x. Let y is equal to 5 raised to power x, which means anywhere you see 5 raised to power x, you change it to y to balance the equation. Now, let's substitute. You have y raised to power 2 minus 26y plus 25 is equal to 0. Now, this expression is what? Quadratic expression. Now, for those of us that understand quadratic equations, now you can be able to go this and solve for x. Now, but for those of us that don't understand, we will resolve this using quadratic expression. Let's factorize this. How do we factorize this? The second coefficient of y, which is minus 26, you find two factors that when you add the factors, you get minus 26, and when you multiply those two factors, you get plus 25. Now, let me simplify that for you. Sum, product. Now, what are the two factors that when you add, you get minus 26? Minus 25 minus 1 will give us minus 26. Now, that same factors, when you multiply it, you must get plus 25. Minus 25 times minus 1 is what? Plus 25. Now you are good to go with these two factors. Now let's substitute these factors into the equation above, changing the coefficient of y. Now you have y raised to power 2 minus 25y minus 1y plus 25 is equal to 0. Now you can continue to factorize this. When you factorize this, you have what? Y is common here in these two sides. You have your y, then bring in y minus 25. Then this will be minus 1. Then you have y minus 25 is equal to 0. If you are factorizing, if you multiply this back, you still get this value. That's minus 1 times y will give us minus 1y. Minus times minus is plus. 1 times 25 is what? 25. Now, when you're factorizing, you should notice something. Those ones in the bracket are the same. Now, equally, you can have your value to be y minus 1. This one, bring it together. Then take one of this, that's y minus 25 is equal to 0. Then finally, y minus 1 is equal to 0, or y minus 25 is equal to 0. Then your y will be 0 plus 1, or y is equal to 0 plus 25. Then finally, what will be our y? Our y is equal to what? 1 or 25. Now you've gotten the value for y. Now let's go back to um, our initial stage. Remember we said y is equal to what? 5 raised to power x. Now you can now substitute the value here to get the value for x, because from the beginning we're looking for x, not y. Now you have 5 raised to power x is equal to 1, or 5 raised to power x is equal to 25. Then you have 5 raised to power x is equal to, this is 1. How can we change this back to indices? Remember, anything raised to power 0 is what? Is 1. Now we can say 5 raised to power is 0 is 1. So we can have the same base. Or 5 raised to power x is equal to 25. Find the factors of 25. You have 5 times 5. Now, our 5 raised to power x is equal to what? 5 raised to power 0, or our 5 raised to power x is equal to 5 raised to power 2. Therefore, since you have the same base here, what happened? This base cancel this base, then our x is equal to 0. Or this base cancel this base, then our x is equal to what? 2. Therefore, finally, we can say x is equal to 0 or 2. Now, why do we have two factors for x? Because our initial equation resulted into quadratic expression, and the highest power in quadratic expression is what? Is 2. Highest index is 2. That is why we have value of y to be two numbers, and later have value for x to be two numbers. Here is how you can solve your exponential equation on indices. Now, I'll go to the second example without wasting much of our time. Here is example 2. 2 raised to power 2x minus 5, open bracket, 2 raised to power x, close bracket, plus 4 is equal to 4. Is equal to 0. Now, we'll still go use the other method, the other process we did. We still use that same process. Now, let's continue. You have, let's expand this. 2 raised to power x will also be this, minus 5, 2 raised to power x, plus 4 is equal to 0. Now, let's bring in a letter to replace 2 raised to power x. Let p be equal to 2 raised to power x. Anywhere you see 2 raised to power x, you change it to p. Then you have our equations to be p square minus 5p plus 4 is equal to 0. Now, this is a quadratic expression. A quadratic expression. Now, how do we resolve this? Take up your coefficient of p, then find two factors that when you add it, you get minus 5, and when you multiply, you get plus 4. What are those two factors that when we add them, you have minus 5, when you multiply them, you have plus 4? Those factors are, for simplicity, sum, product. Now, those factors are minus 4, minus 1. Minus 4 minus 1 will give us minus 5. Minus 4 times minus 1 will give us what? Plus 4. Do you get it? Now you substitute this, you change this value here, minus 5p to minus 4p minus 1p. Then you have your answer to be p square minus 4p minus 1p plus 4 is equal to 0. then factorize. You can factorize this easily. P is common between these two values. You bring out your P, open bracket, P minus 4. Then minus 1 is common. Then you have P minus 4. That's equal to 0. In quadratic expression, notice something from the first one we did and this second one. These ones are always the same. Notice that they are always the same. Then finally you have your what? P. You bring this value minus 1. Then pick one of this value. P minus 4 is equal to 0. Now let's continue. We cannot say P minus 1 is equal to 0 or P minus 4 is equal to 0. Now let's go to more solutions. Then you have P minus 1 is equal to 0. P is equal to 0 plus 1. P is equal to 1. Or P minus 4 is equal to 0. P is equal to 0 plus 4. P is equal to 4. Now we have two values for P. But let's recall something. What are we recalling? Our P is equal to 2 raised to power x. Now, let's change the value. When P is equal to 1, that 1 raised to power 2 raised to power x. Then you have 2 raised to power 0 is equal to 2 raised to power x. Then, since you have the basis to be the same, it's cancelled out. Then our x is equal to 0. But when P is equal to 4, we have 4 is equal to 2 raised to power 2x. Then you have 2 raised to power 2, 2 raised to power 2x. Then, since you have the same basis, you cancel it out. This x. This x. Now, you have your what? X is equal to 2. Therefore, we have two values for x. Now, we can conclude that our x is equal to 0 or 2. This is the second example. I'm going to solve the last example, then that will be all. For more example, you can click the link below and get my book. The last example. The third example, solve the following. You're looking at the board to see what you are solving. But this is two system, two function. Now, 2 raised to power x plus y is equal to 32. Now, we can as well turn this into equations because solving this will result into simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations. I'll still be giving us a tutorial on that. Now, you have this will be equation 1. This will be equation 2. Now, let's start our solution. Let's bring equation 1. You have equation 1. You have 2 raised to power 2 raised to power x 2 raised to power x plus y is equal to, find the factors of 32. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Then you have 2 raised to power x plus y is equal to 2 raised to power 5. This has the same basis. Now, cancel it out, cancel it out. You have your final answer to be what? X plus y is equal to 5. We can call this equation 3. Now, let's go back. Let's go to equation 2. Equation 2, we have 3 raised to power 3y minus x is equal to 27. Let's resolve it also. 3 raised to power 3y minus x is equal to, this will be 3 times 3 times 3. Then you have 3 raised to power 3y minus x is equal to 3 raised to power 3. Since it has the same basis, this cancel out. Then we have our final, our answer to be 3y minus x is equal to 3. Let's call this equation 4. Now, From equation 3 and 4, let's combine the two equations, because from equation 1 we have been able to resolve into equation 3, and from equation 2 we resolve into equation 4. Now let's bring both equations together. Bring equation 3 and 4 together. Now we have our x plus y is equal to 5. Then 3y minus x is equal to 3. Call this equation 3, equation 4. Now from equation 3, x plus y is equal to 5. X can be 5. This plus y will come here and it will change to minus y. Let's call this equation 5. Can you see that? Now, how do we resolve? I'm going somewhere. Then substitute 5 minus y for x in equation 4. Now, let's go back to equation 4. Equation 4, 3y minus, now we are changing the x to be 5 minus 4. Then you have 5 minus 4. We are changing the x to be 5 minus y, rather. Then you have 5 minus y is equal to what? 3. Open your brackets. Minus 5. Minus times minus plus y is equal to 3. Then collect like times. 3y plus y is equal to 3. This go to the other side, plus 5. Then 3y plus y, that's 4y, is equal to 8. How do we get our y? Divide both sides by 4. Divide both sides by 4. Then you have 4y over 4 is equal to 8 over 4. Then cancel, cancel. 8 divided by 4 is what? 8 divided by 4, our y can equally be 2. Now you see we've gotten the value for y. Now how do we get the value for x? Let's go to equation from equation 5. What does equation 5? This is equation 5. That x is equal to 5 minus y. Since we have our y to be 2, now what are we to do? We substitute 5 minus y, change your y to 2. Then our x is equal to 5 minus 2, that's 3. Now from the system, we have resolved that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2. That's your final answer. With this, you should be able to solve more questions on exponential equation. Go back to the first example, down to this, you understand better. For more example and more clarity, get my book on 100 fully solved solutions on algebraic indices. Thank you.